Welcome back to Orange Nation Artist of the Day, the Ramones, Rockaway Beach.
All right, and with
all
that,
their songs sound exactly
they do.
the same.
I was just thinking, as a matter of fact.
They all start with a count, and then they go into just screaming. I like it.
All right, let's go to our guest line to bring out our first guest today. Pleased to be joined, as promised, by SU assistant coach Allen Griffin. Griff, always great to talk to you. How are you today?
I'm doing great. What's going on, fellas?
So we've been dying to hear your thoughts on Judah coming back. Big news, obviously, late last week that Judah decided it was in his best interest to return to school. I'd imagine you guys collectively as a coaching staff are excited. How excited are you to have Judah back?
Definitely very excited. He's going to be one of the best players in college basketball, and we're just fortunate to having him.
So obviously he went through the process and he got the information and he decided at the end of the day that it was best for him to come back. What are you guys looking for out of Judah next year? He had a great freshman year. What do you expect from him to kind of take his game to the next level? Going into his sophomore season.
I think the one thing is Judah was a great teammate to his guys and continued being a great teammate, but also to just getting him back for another year, seeing him improve his shot, move forward from the three, his leadership. It's going to be great and really ecstatic to have him.
Let me ask you a question, Griff. If you go through the process and the NBA tells you they need you to work on this, but you guys need him to do something else, how do you mesh that with coaching a kid?
No, you got to come to a common ground. I think him and Coach Autry have a great relationship because obviously, Coach Autry recruited him when he was an assistant, so they have that bond already. And it's just come to a common understanding. Like, maybe they told him, hey, listen, we want you to improve your three-point shooting. Yeah, that's not come here and shoot 15 threes a game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you step in and you take the good ones. And I think that if you looked at Judah's end of the year stats, probably the last 10 games, he shot the ball extremely well from the three-point line. He just was doing a lot of stuff that it took him some time to do, at the beginning of the season. So now you can, you get the head start to that stuff, and you got him being that guy that we just left, and plus an improved guy over the summer. Watch out. Watch out.
I'm glad you used the word leadership because I think that's one of the things that's overlooked in this whole thing because we know how talented Judah is and he's going to score a lot. He's going to set up his teammates. But, the fact of the matter is you got a lot of new pieces and you are a relatively young team. To have your starting point guard back and a guy who's been through it and can be, the leader on the floor, that's we can't overlook that, right? I mean, that's a really important thing to have, some built-in leadership back.
It's a huge thing, and the one thing about Judah, what a lot of people don't know, but just getting to know him, being around him as much as we did last year during the season, Judah's an alpha. He's an alpha. That's his mentality. That's how he's been brought up through his parents, who's done a phenomenal job with him. So that leadership and that will to after games he was upset, because again he wants to win, and I just think that with him coming back and having that same desire, and he's going to have some incentive. Like he's going to want to play well because obviously he got some feedback. Even though the feedback can be good, bad, or different, it just wasn't what he wanted in his cause because he wanted to play in the NBA. So it's so one of those things where he just brings so much to the table, and then again, like we're so lucky to have him.
You guys were very active in the portal, and you did so at a time when we didn't know what was going to happen with Judah, right? He was going through the process. You didn't know for sure. How do you deal with some of the incoming guys that transferred in? Now Judah's coming back. He's going to play a lot. How do you handle that with some of the guys coming in?
Honesty.
Right.
You got to be very honest and upfront. But also too, these guys are competitors, and I know at least 2 or 3 of the guys reached out to Judah through the process, and Judah was honest with them. So and when you think about the guys that we got back in the transfer portal, it was guys that we actively recruited throughout their high school careers. So there was a relationship, with most of the guys that we brought back. So, again, it was one of those things where you just had to be honest. And these guys are competitive, but also, too, I think more importantly, these guys want to win, and you need good players to win. And I think that's why these guys I think is going to be a really special team.
You mentioned you need good players to win. I mean, you guys have a lot of talent on this roster. It seems like it's very deep. It's very versatile. We talk about a lot of the guys on this roster. They can play multiple positions. You've been doing this a long time, Griff. Is this, would you say this is one of the most talented, versatile, athletic rosters that you can remember around here?
He did not like that question.
He did not like that question. He said, I'm done.
Yeah.
All right, Tim, let's see if we can get Griff back up here to close out this phone call.
This hour of Orange Nation brought to you by Billy Whitaker Cars and Trucks.
There's no doubt that guys want to win, and he's right that by bringing Judah back, and we talked about this on Friday. I know you weren't here, but Judah coming back, this is further proof that they are set up for success going into next year, right? They've got their leader back, their starting point guard, their best player. They got an NBA talent right now leading the way, and this was it. They had nothing to do with it, right? I mean, it was completely up to Judah, but this was a big break that he's coming back. And speaking of being back, we've got Griff back with us. I was just saying, Griff, I don't know how much you heard of that question, but you guys are really deep and really talented. You've been doing this a really long time. Would you say this is one of the most deep, talented rosters that you've been around?
Oh, definitely. From top to bottom, 100%. I think we're like 4 deep at each position, and it's going to be a lot of competition. It's just going to be really a lot of excitement. It's going to be different than, obviously what Coach Boeheim was doing. But, you're going to see some similarities in some stuff. So it's a really exciting time, really exciting year coming up. But more importantly, it's a great time to be here.
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot, and you can dance around this if you want. But
I'm definitely dancing. When you ask that question, I'm definitely dancing.
I'm just giving you a heads up. So you just said there's going to be a lot of different. Is man-to-man going to be the primary defense? Do we know that yet? Is that going to be? And I know you said you're going to play a lot of different defenses. But when you guys jump it up, is that going to be the first defense we see man-to-man on a regular basis?
You know what? I told Coach Autry, I said, if you really want to knock it off out the park and just get people going crazy, I said, you start your first ever possession of defense in zone. and he looked at me with this look like, what are you talking about, Griff? But, I think it's been talked about. We've been drilling it, when we had the guys before they went home, and I think that's something that we're going to work on and emphasize when these guys come back in July. And we're gonna play a lot. We're gonna play man to man. That's 100% on the table. I know that for sure.
It's crazy too, though, Griff. Like you look at this team, though, it seems like it's built perfectly for that zone, though, right? You guys are big everywhere.
It's really funny, Paulie. Adrian just said that in a meeting. We had a staff meeting, and basically, he said that. He said this team is built for zone. So, I think we can't totally run away from it. We all played in it. We all know it. But it can be a tool to helping us win a game or two. So we can't just eliminate it and throw it out the window. And so it's going to be one of those things where, depending on the situation, we probably throw it out there every now and then, for sure.
Another popular question people have is, and again, I don't know if you can answer this today, but
by the way, Steve, by the way, I just want to say this. Did you watch the game last night, the Heat game? They played zone. They played zone towards the end, and they really messed up Denver with the zone.
It was a big part of the run. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, Oh, yeah.
No doubt about it. Another popular question is, how many guys are they going to play? Because we got in the habit of seeing 7.5 guys in a rotation with Jim Boeheim, maybe 8. But again, as we just discussed, you've got 10+ guys who could potentially make a strong case to be out there. Will we see up to 10 guys on the floor on a regular basis?
I would say this: if we're stuck to playing 7 guys, we're not going to be a very good team.
Okay. Yeah. That's fair. That's spoken very well, like a true coach. What are you most excited about with this group?
I think the versatility. I think the versatility on both ends of the court is going to be very, very, very unique. But it's going to be fun. You got guards that can really deck it and get to the basket, but also, too, you got guys that can, returning guys like Jhaustin and Chris that can really shoot the ball from the outside. And then I like my group because it's just going to be done by committee. And, we got 4 unique guys in my group. You got Munir, who showed glimpses last year. You got Naheem, who is probably the biggest human being I've ever seen in my life. Then you got Peter Carey, and then you got a freshman too. So it's going to be a really unique position. It's going to be really a lot of fun, especially in practice. But to answer the question, I think our team is going to be very, very, very versatile, which is going to be, it sets up for a fun style of basketball on both ends of the court.
You just mentioned 4 names there. You did not mention Malik Brown. Is he going to work with your group at all, or is he mainly going to stick with the forwards?
I think he is the most versatile piece on our team. So, yeah, definitely. He's the most important person when it comes to versatility and being able to put him at the 5 and do some stuff. It's going to be a really, really, really unique but fun team.
All right, Griff, I got to ask you a question. I was at that 2003 reunion, and I may have learned something that you were an unsung hero in that, because Melo kind of said something in passing that I was taken aback by. And you don't have to tell any stories. I just want you to confirm it. He said that his visit to Syracuse, you were you signed and sealed it for him. Were you his tour guide when he was here?
Yeah. The one thing that I'll share this about that helping out when I was not part of the program after I graduated. When Melo and those guys came, when Melo came to campus, he was so freaking excited. People think that he's just saying that about having fun up here. That dude from day one, he had the most fun. Everything he did was with a smile on his face, which was crazy. I cried when I had to leave, Yeah. But he was up here excited. All he kept asking me was like, "Yo, Griff, tell me about the games. I can't wait to play in front of all these people." But he was just excited about that. Where do we come in for the games? And what about he was just was that excited. So I spent some time with him. I don't want to say I was the sole guy that got the deal done, but I was a piece.
Yeah, he gave you a shout out at that thing, so it was fun.
Yeah.
You guys have been working hard, Griff, making sure this roster's in good shape, and as Paulie and I have talked about, you've kind of gone down the checklist. You've gotten everything you've needed to set your guys up for success next year. Do you finally get to take a deep breath now? Do you have a little bit of a chance to get some downtime?
No, the work starts now.
Yeah.
The work is starting in a couple of weeks. When our guys get back to campus. So, right now we're just in meetings, couple a week, just trying to figure out how, you get one shot at this, and for Adrian. And what we're trying to do is make sure that we hit the ground running and we're, a cohesive group. We're locked arms together and just making this experience one of the best. And that's all we've been trying to do here. So I'll take my deep breaths when, we make it to the Final Four or something, and that's when I take my deep breaths. But until then, I think it's all about just, grinding. It's a grind. It's going to be a grind. The landscape of college basketball is changing. The job description is not the same as it was even last year. So it's changing. It's evolving, and you got to stay up with it. So again, like right now, it's just grind. I've been playing some golf now. I go out there and golf. I have, my 2-hour window. I tell my girlfriend all the time, I say, listen, I'm going to have to split time with you on the golf course right now.
Excellent. Well said. That's important, especially this time of year, because we don't get we don't get great weather up here on a regular basis. So I'm glad you've been able to get out on the golf course. A lot of excitement with this team, Griff. Keep up the good work. Enjoy the summer, and we'll talk again soon.
All right, definitely. Thanks, guys.
All right, Allen Griffin joining us here on the show. We'll hit a timeout, and we will wrap up hour number 1 next on ESPN Radio.